Okay, so mediumship, when they communicate with us and the spirits are communicating, it is going to sound like us. So, as I said in a previous video, they're using our mind to communicate with us. So, if a spirit is communicating with me and they want to talk about a family holiday, for instance, that was taken with the sitter, the person who's come for the reading. So the spirit wants to say, remember when we took this holiday? That's evidence. That's evidence that this is who you're talking to. You're talking to your loved one in spirit because they're bringing up this evidence that only you know about. So they want to talk about a family holiday. What they're actually going to do is they're going to use my mind. They're going to use my memories, my thoughts, my inner monologue, all of that, everything that I have in my database of mind memories and everything, experiences. They're going to use all of that to communicate that to me. So they might remind me, because I remember I'm keeping my mind clear. So they might remind me of a holiday that I took when I was younger. They'll bring this holiday into my mind. Maybe it's on the beach, maybe it's in a city or whatever it might be, but they're going to remind me of a holiday. And so I'm going to say, would you understand why they're talking about a holiday at the beach? And the sitter is going to say, yes, I understand that. Now, I don't want any more information from the sitter. I just want them to say yes. I don't want them to give me anything else, because once I've spoken that piece of information, the spirit is then going to impress on my mind the next part of that. And they might change the subject. They might move from that. Okay, yes, I understand a family holiday. Now they want to talk about a job or whatever it might be. Or what they might do then is they might expand on that story. And so I'm not trying to analyze the information. I'm just saying what they want me to say. And then I'm going to let them move on to the next thing. And then the next thing might be, maybe they're showing me riding a bike. And so then I'm going to say, would you understand why they want me to talk about riding a bike? And then the sitter might say, yes, we rode bikes on that holiday on the beach and we got stuck in the sand or something, And so what they're doing is they're helping you to form this communication so that the sitter understands that they're bringing up a memory, a shared memory that they have with the person in spirit, which is really, really amazing evidence in a reading. And it's usually that kind of evidence that the sitter can really feel the spirit with them, because it really brings them back to that time that they had this shared memory. And it can be really, really lovely evidence. It really can. So it's going to sound like you. So in those instances, they're using my memories. They're just reminding me of something. They're literally just reminding me. They're just plopping this little memory into my head of me on a holiday or me riding a bike. And I know then that I have to speak about that. Sometimes it might come in the form of clairaudience, which would be hearing something. And what I'm actually hearing, it's not something that's external. I'm not hearing it outside of myself. What I'm actually hearing is my inner monologue. That inner monologue that speaks, that sounds like you. If you're stood doing the dishes and you're thinking, and you're just thinking over maybe a conversation that you had during the day, or you're thinking about, I really need to go upstairs and fold the washing, or whatever it might be. That voice, that little voice that's inside your head, that is what it sounds like. And so it does sound like you. So you're going to be thinking, well, I made that up. That sounds like me. But just speak it. It's really important to just have that trust that when I'm sitting down and I'm intending to do a reading for somebody, I'm going to have to trust what's coming in. And that's actually one of the hardest parts I found. One of the hardest parts was actually just trusting and saying it and getting over myself and not wanting to look like an idiot. Like, I'm going to look like an idiot if I get this wrong. Why do they want me to talk about pink elephants? What? That's so stupid, and really getting over that. And because sometimes the really, what feels like something really silly, like I'm not talking about that, that's really stupid, is actually sometimes the most important piece of evidence that really makes that sitter go, oh my God, I 100% know that that's my person in spirit because they spoke about that. And so really getting over yourself is really important when you're doing a reading. So like that, it's going to sound like you. They're going to use your memories, images that you have in your mind. I find actually sometimes that when I'm doing a reading and they're talking about, say, the personality, when the spirit is trying to explain their personality, sometimes they will impress upon my mind the idea of somebody I already know. And what they're trying to tell me there is my personality is actually very similar to that person's personality that you know. And so if you describe that person, that's my personality. And that has happened several times as well. And so again, it's really just trusting, because you're really thinking, why am I thinking about this person that I know during this reading? I really need to get back on track, but it's there for a reason. It's showing up for a reason. Yeah. So the point of this video is it's going to sound like you. And so trying to really trust what's coming in when you're trying to do a reading.